Morning, friends. This morning thought is all glory comes from daring to begin. See, all achievements the children of today are achieving in various competitive exams are exemplary to their daring capability to come up, to start, to act, to begin. Anyone who has achieved success has first begun his journey, initiating his capability to action. If you can't initiate your capability to action, you will never come to the destination. Friends, there is no denying the fact. The innumerable examples of the glorious achievement of the people in the world have all been attributed to the capacity of the people, individuals, to dare to begin their work. The achievements begin simply with the courage to take action. If you sit just thinking that I cannot do, you will never do. There are, children, there are candidates in every walk of life. They have come up with their flying colors, even from the rural areas where there is no light of knowledge. The children have the desire, they have the will to come, and where there is will, there is way. And they have come up, they have succeeded in various competitive exams. There is a girl that is, she's from a rural village in Bihar. She has got IIT Jodhpur only because of her willpower, and she has begun to work on that project. For 2 3 years she prepared and she cracked the IIT. This clearly suggests that there are innumerable examples of successful careers. They have come from rural areas where there is no good school, only the government schools are there. But the children had the desire to do. They dared to begin and they did it. And they all had the courage to take action. The quote breaks down. This is a quote from the great writer Ruskin Bond, a great literate and a great philosopher and a writer, a fiction story writer, Ruskin Bond, whose innumerable stories have inspired the people of India. His stories always have been inspiring. The quote breaks down into several deep, attainable themes regarding success and personal growth. See, friends, if you understand the importance of personal growth, you can turn the table in your favor any moment. Every moment is your moment. Every second is your second. Every day is your day. You can turn the table into your favor. There are innumerable actionable schemes regarding any sort of success in life and any sort of personal growth in life. The tyranny of hesitation is the biggest hurdle of your life. The biggest obstacle to success is the task itself. That you will just think, oh well, it is very, very tough. Pre-start anxiety. This is very, very bad. No, there should be no procrastination and fear of failure. If you feel, if a soldier posted at the border defending the nation, he thinks that he will be shot dead by the enemy, he will never be able to defend. He knows that today or tomorrow he will be shot dead by the enemy. But the moment is his, he is standing with all the bravery that he will defend the nation to the last breath of his life. And that is the reason why he survives. He is never killed by because he kills the enemies, because he has this capacity. There is no procrastination in the mind of the soldier. There is no fear of death. So fear of failure is the greatest obstacle for any individual. People often wait for the perfect conditions, absolute condition. How can you have absolute certainty of anything unless you start working on the project? Can you really have certainty of any success? There is no absolute certainty that you will succeed in your mission unless you start. You see what are the things. There are no perfect conditions for any absolute certainty in life, for which you can any goal that you can arrive is not attainable unless and until you think and you start with an action. This quote also validates that simply sitting and simply thinking shatters everything. It creates a stagnation. If you start working, half of the work is done. Because there is a proverb, well begun is half done. Overcoming inertia. See, in physics there is a word inertia. Being in the same condition. If a body is in the condition of rest, it wants to be in rest. If a car is moving, it wants to continue to move unless until you apply the brake. So this is called inertia. The car doesn't want to stop. This inertia of motion. So we should always think of this, inertia, that in physics also, a body is at rest, it will be in rest unless and until you move the body with your hand. This concept applies directly to human motivation. The act of starting is even a small work, starting even a giant work. It is very, very important to start. Builds momentum. Once you are in motion, you are not going to stop. This the rule of inertia of motion is applicable to real life situation. It becomes progressively easier to navigate through the challenges and adjust and solve the problems for those who really have the capacity, the daring capacity to begin the work. Defining glory. It is very important to define glory. What is glory and how can we achieve glory? To talk about glory, it is spoken of is not a necessarily fame or a public recognition. It refers to the pride and fulfillment of your desire. If you have a desire to, crack any competitive exam, that is what we call the glory. Once you crack the exam, you are the greatest, person, and you are the happiest one. So there is no necessarily fame or public recognition that is being associated with the glory. Glory is your success. Glory is your greatness in doing the work. Glory is in your achievement that comes from unlocking your potential, achieving a difficult goal, and mastering a new skill. There are innumerable billion and millions of the children in the world who are doing miracles in the field of science and technology, in the field of research, in the field of software, and the youngest minds have done miraculous, so much achievement they have achieved by unlocking their potential, that the world has recognized them. And the world has given them the opportunity to go ahead and master new skills, stepping into vulnerability. Vulnerability is a very, daring implies taking a risk. Unless you take a risk, no gain. You have to take risk. It means exposing yourself. There are students who have failed in 3 attempts, 4 attempts, but eventually they have succeeded. So the failure will not be counted. They have succeeded. That will be counted. So they have dared to try again and again, even after rejection, even after failure, and they have made this success possible. Failing short or making mistake is quite natural. It is human. To err is human, to forgive is divine. True glory is reserved for those willing to embrace the uncertainty rather than playing a safe game. If you are playing a safe game, it is not going to work. The gateway to growth is a very important word, and particularly the personal growth is immensely a very nice thing. Personal growth. What do you mean by personal growth? There is a gateway to growth. You cannot literate or improve upon nothing. You have to start. The foundation of learning, it allows you to test your, unless until you master the concepts of anything, can you really make a distinction answers of that question? No. You have to master the concept sooner or later, and you have to break the boundary of limitations. When you have the foundational knowledge of learning, it will allow you to test your limits, gather feedback, and continuously evolve to to achieve success after success. Literally, the phrase calls for a conquering self doubt. Conquer your self doubt. make a gateway. You cannot really literate or improve upon nothing. You have to starting the foundational learning and concept learning. It allows you to test your limits, gather feedback, and continuously evolve. See, the phrase itself asks us to conquer our doubt. Remove your doubt. Make a victory of your doubt. It serves as a reminder that dreamers merely imagine what could be possible while achievers dare to take risk. They take the first step. Dreamers only imagine, but the achievers dare to take risk, and they take the first step towards making it a reality. And therefore, friends, it is very important to dare come up in your life, to start your actions, to work upon your project, and to turn your dream into reality. And that is what this quote suggests. This is Eddie Singh on the channel Easy English by Eddie Singh, your own channel. Thank you. Have a nice morning.